Welcome back to 30 Days of Persuasion Plays with me, Paul Macetta. Classic influence persuasion tactic we're going to cover here today. And what it has to do with is something called social proof or social validation. And what social proof or social validation tells us is that when people are unsure of what to think or what to do in a certain situation, they typically look to see what the majority of other people have done in a similar situation. So, you're in your house, you're getting ready to do the laundry, boom, you realize the washing machine doesn't work anymore, the warranty's expired, it's going to cost you way too much money to get it fixed. So you got to buy a new one. What do? You go online, you go to Sears, you go to Home Depot, you go to Lowe's. You look for one that you like. What do you start doing? You start sorting it out by reviews. You immediately look at the reviews to see what other people had to say about this particular item. You go buy a book, go in the bookstore. What do these popular books say at the top? Over 1 million copies sold. Over 1 million copies printed. Over 1 million copies printed, by the way, means absolutely nothing. I could print 1 million copies of a book. What does it mean? It doesn't mean 1 million people bought it, right? But the concept is the same. Or New York Times best-selling author, right? What does best-selling mean? It means that I sold a lot of books, which means what I'm telling you is that a lot of other people bought my book. Or if I say over 1 million copies sold, it means that a lot of other people bought my book. So what I'm doing is I'm utilizing the power of social validation. Because when you look at that book, what are you going to think to yourself? Wow, 1 million people bought this book. It must be good. This guy's a New York Times best-selling author. His books must be interesting. They must be worth reading if so many people are interested in them, right? And so, very simply, social proof just tells us, or social validation tells us, that when people are unsure of what to think or what to do in a certain situation, they typically look to see what other people have done in a similar situation. So if you're trying to influence, persuade, sell, pitch, convince someone of a specific product, service, opinion, whatever it may be, you have to utilize the fact that other people have supported this same pitch, idea, sale, product, service, whatever you want to call it. So today I got 3 tips for you on how to utilize social proof when you're trying to influence and persuade other people. So very first one, which is an obvious one, is to simply show them other people who've had positive results with whatever it is that you're asking them to do. So if you're asking them to buy a product or a service, show them other people, preferably in as many large numbers as you can get, that have had the positive results that you're claiming they will experience if they purchase your product or service. Pretty simple and straightforward. Next is show them other people who support you. So if you've been on a major television network or you have mutual friends, so in the online space, if you're an entrepreneur and you're selling something online and you want people to buy what you have to offer, show them all of the credible publications that you've been on. Show them all the relationships you have with credible companies or credible resources that support your product, service, or message. If you're just simply having a conversation with somebody and you want them to buy into what you're talking about, then show them how another person who they believe is credible supports your argument or what you're saying. And the funny thing is that we do this by nature anyway, right? How many times have you found yourself in an argument with somebody and you turn around and say, but even so-and-so said this about you, or even so-and-so thinks I'm right? Right? We do that organically by nature. We try to use other people's thoughts and opinions to support our own. And so this is just taking a little bit more of a structured approach toward it. So again, if you're trying to sell something, utilize the credible companies or institutions that have supported you. And if you're just in a one-on-one situation where you're trying to convince somebody of an opinion, show them other credible people that have supported your opinion. And the last one is show them other people that believe in your message. So in salesmanship, in marketing, in pitching, in public speaking, at the end of the day, what you're conveying is a message. There's a certain message, excuse me, that you need your audience to believe in order for them to be influenced or persuaded by you, in order for them to say yes. There's a certain message that they need to believe in order to say yes to you. And so, for example, if I was trying to sell you a weight loss product that is based on the paleo diet. So, for example, the paleo diet, in case you don't know, is based on the primitive way of eating. It's based on how cavemen used to eat. And the theory or science, whatever you want to call it, the premise of the entire thing is that when we were cavemen or living in those times thousands of years ago, our bodies were designed to hunt and gather. And so we weren't obese, we weren't out of shape, we weren't riddled with cancer and all these debilitating diseases. We were in great shape because ultimately we're designed to hunt and gather, and the food that we are supposed to be eating is plants and proteins. We're not supposed to be eating man-made stuff like bread and cereal and crackers and refined sugars and things like that. And so in order for me to sell you on the paleo diet, I first need you to believe that message. I need you to believe the message that we're supposed to eat like cavemen. Because if I don't get you to believe that message first, the likelihood of you buying into the paleo diet and whatever it is that I'm trying to sell you on, I may be trying to sell you on paleo foods. I may be trying to sell you on paleo meal plans. I may be trying to sell you on a paleo system to use, right? All of those things are really just end products that I'm trying to sell you. But the message is that you have to believe that a prehistoric diet, for lack of a better term, whatever you want to call it, an ancient diet, a caveman diet, is really the best type of diet that we should be on. Because that diet is drastically different than many other diets that may include a high carbohydrate load, right? So if you've been used to diets like that, I have to somehow convince you that those diets are wrong by convincing you of the message that we should be eating like cavemen. And so in order for me to do that, I would have to show you other people that support that message. Maybe I would bring in medical doctors. Maybe I would bring in exercise nutritionists, whatever. People that are known as credible experts when it comes to the body. I would show you how they support that message. And all I'm simply doing is utilizing social proof or capitalizing on what we call social validation. So again, 3 ways to do it. Show them other people who support you. Show them other people who've had results using whatever it is that you're trying to get them to buy into. And last but not least, show them other people that believe in your message so that they'll believe in your message. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, leave a comment, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel.